It's lovely to be here tonight. It's quite symbolic, actually, that we're all sitting in Stormont with no government to speak of, but such wonderful speakers and such intelligence. And when Elizabeth was talking about how proud she is of her country, I was thinking about how proud we all are of Northern Ireland and what would be our equivalent to your bridge. And it's probably this place, but it's just not working at the moment, but we'll get there. So, on to my story. Walking down Royal Avenue in Belfast, I saw a little stall with pictures. There was pictures of Harland and Wolff, pictures of, the Carcareed rope bridge, the pictures that the tourists stopping by from the cruise ships. The Black Hedges weren't there because at that stage, they weren't famous. In the back, I saw this picture, and it touched me. And I quietly asked, how much was it? And I put it in my bag and covered it up, and I brought it home. And I put it in a downstairs bathroom where nobody would see it. I don't know why I did that, but I did that. This picture is of a chair with a chain to the wall. The prisons in Northern Ireland in the 70s were full of chairs like this. If you were a child visiting a prison, this is the chair you sat on. I was a child visiting a prison. This is the chair I sat on. I've said it. How many people in Northern Ireland in the early 1970s were the children of prisoners? The prison population went up 400% in the late 60s, early 70s, but we don't hear about these children. We hear a lot about the prisoners, a lot. Indeed, many of them roam these halls. But what of those children? I know some, and they don't tell people. And they're across all society. My first job after university was to go and work with the probation service. What better job could I have? I was quite passionate about rehabilitation and helping people. And I found that when I went into my job, there were two groups of prisoners. There were the ODCs, and they were what we called the politicals, and some people called the terrorists. The ODCs, ordinary, decent criminal. They were the rapists, the burglars. All of those people that didn't have a political crime were the ODCs. As I read the files, I couldn't believe what some of the stuff that I read, right across all of the files, I have to say, a bit traumatized. There were the young offenders, and oh my, those young offenders. I struggled when I read the files to find one, just one that had a decent home, a decent upbringing. Every one of them had something that had happened to them. They might have been failed at school, if not by their family, but there was always something that led them to the place that they ended up. And I loved my job. My boss was great, and I got promoted. I bought this wee house, 108 Balfour Avenue. It's on the Lower Armour Road. It's all I could afford. I played classical music, and I painted the walls, and thought maybe I was becoming what I always wanted to be, a professional person, break through, be something special, be something better. My boss called me in and said, the whole team is moving inside of the prison to do our rehabilitation. I was excited. I'd already been promoted. I'd given up my master's because he wanted me to do the full-time job. Yes, you're not coming. Me? I'm not coming? I'm better than everybody here. Why am I not coming? Don't worry, dear. It's nothing to do with you. It's because of where you're from and who you're related to. I packed up my car 2 weeks later, and I went to London, 22 years of age, heartbroken, absolutely, still heartbroken. How could that happen in our society? How could we ask people to move forward? How could we ask people to work together, be together, and treat people like that? Who was doing this? Why? I didn't do anything. All I ever wanted was the best for everyone. I went to university and I had friends whose dads were in the RUC. I made friends, English friends, whose parents had been soldiers here. I made friends across the piece. We didn't care where we were from. We cared about what our moral compass was, who we were. Guess what? It isn't all bad. I had a fantastic career. You know, when you go somewhere else, all they care about is how good you are. They don't care about what your address was. They don't care about who you're related to. They don't care about anything else. They want to know, guess what? What are you putting on the bottom line of my company? Well, guess what? Ladies and gents, that wasn't that difficult for me. I was hardworking. I was ambitious. And I had something driving me, something bigger. And maybe it was the chains. There was always something, no matter how well I did. I worked all over Europe. It got boring. I wanted to be home. I had 3 little children, and one of them's here. And I decided to bring them back to this God-forsaken place that I love. And I brought them back, and my gorgeous English husband, to this. It was 2012, and it was the flag protest. And I thought, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? I thought our society had moved forward. Oh no. And I started to try and understand what was going on within unionist culture. And I thought, rather than sit up the Malone Road with a very nice salary, keep myself to myself, keep my kids in a good grammar school, maybe it's time I did something instead of complaining about politicians. So I did, didn't I? Didn't I, ladies and gentlemen? I did something. But as you're starting to see, my story doesn't always end well. I tried to be the bridge between 2 men, but that's a whole other TED Talk. NI 21, fresh politics. We got the kids involved, we had a social media strategy, and I worked my socks off. I worked harder than anybody, and I was running my own little company, sponsored by a PLC. There were 4 of us in a little office in the Scottish Provident building by City Hall. They'd left their jobs to come and work for me. They knew me. I had a responsibility. I was going to build something big, but I was going to work every night at building this party as well. A journalist called me, and he said, I want to hear your story. So of course, just like all this, I talked about, and did you know I won this award? And did you know I built this? And did you know I'm back because I love this place? And this is the article he printed. My lovely English husband said, darling, what's worse, being a West Belfast girl with a unionist chief title, or being someone in business called an IRA man's daughter? What is worse? And I said, I don't know what's worse, but we're leaving. I'm out of here. Does anybody here know what time you can get a newspaper in Northern Ireland? Because at 12 o'clock in midnight in November in 2013, the article came up on the web, and it said, continued on page 4 and 5. What? And on page 45, they wrote that I'm the future of Northern Ireland because it's people like me that can overcome their bridges that need to be encouraged. But this is what they put on the front page. I was done, or so I thought. Something changed that day in me, and I hope to God it happens to you if it hasn't already. I decided that I would stay, and I would face it, and I would fight it, and I would prove to anyone who wanted to knock me that they weren't going to. And this is what I would teach my children. Not to be chained to anything. We're all chained to something, but each link that we build is our bridge to who we are. Whether you're in poverty in Northern Ireland and 200,000 people right now today are ill, are sick, have mental health issues, children are growing up with that. There is stigma everywhere in this place. You can feel it, you can smell it. You walk into the schools that are in the areas that don't have a lot. Those kids are stigmatized. Most of those kids don't stand a chance. Deirdre Heenan will tell you that at age 3 we can tell in Northern Ireland who's not going to make it. At age 3 because of poverty. We're all chained to something, and we all have a responsibility that when we get somewhere, that we help somebody along, help them build their chain, help them step out of their chair. It's been great. It's been great. Wow, I'm glad I stayed. I built 3 multi-million-pound companies. I put 5,000 people out to work every day across this island. Me and my team, not just me, of course. I'm just lucky I'm surrounded by such talent. And more than that, more than any of that, I now run the visitor centres across these prisons. I do the child of a prisoner. These are the toys that I wanted to give in the prisons because the toys are rubbish. But the children aren't sitting on the chairs I sat on. Everyone has a chain. Everyone has a choice. Everyone has a responsibility. Looking around the world today at the labels that are on people, at the judgments we make, whether it's ISIS, whatever it is, we judge everybody. Those people that voted for Trump, we're judging them all. Judging people enough is enough to send them the wrong way. So who am I? What label do I give myself? I'm a mother, first and foremost. I'm a wife. I'm a businesswoman. I'm an entrepreneur. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm also a prisoner's daughter, and I'm not ashamed. Thank you.